Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Double honors to the elders and apostles who rule well and teach well, and salutations to the elect, to the seed of Israel scattered abroad. This video is going to go into salvation is not based on skin color alone. Okay, salvation is not based on skin colors. It's not based on skin tone. It's not based on how much melanin you got in your skin, or the hue. You know, it's going to be based on, first of all, being the seed of Israel, because there's a doctrine going around in the earth where you'll hear countless and numerous of times that mainly of the Christian faith saying that the Hebrew Israelites believe only black people are going to heaven. And when, you know, they say heaven, they literally mean the third heavens, through the firmaments, like the actual only black people's spirits are going to heaven, which is it's ridiculous, because for one, every spirit, it returns back to the Lord who gave it to. And two, in truth, salvation is not based on skin tone. It is based, however, on the seed of the promise, which are Israelites. Israelites mean prince of the power, princes of the power, the sons of God, basically. So understanding what heaven is important, but that's another lesson. I'm going to focus on the doctrine of skin tone in the matter of being saved or having salvation. All right. But before we get into breaking down this false doctrine, first, what truly is salvation? Let's really think about that. Salvation, and we can go through the scriptures. I'm gonna go through a few. I'm not gonna go through all of them because I don't want to make this video too long, but I'm gonna just go through some points. So for one, salvation, and you could check this, you need to be looking through these scriptures anyway, but salvation is deliverance from Israel's enemies, right? From Yasharallah's enemies. You'll find that in Luke 1:68 through 71. Salvation is the end of Yasharallah's captivity and curses. That's Jeremiah 30:10. Salvation comes through YAHAWASHI for the lost sheep of Yasharallah, Matthew 1:21. And also, salvation is rulership and dominion on the earth, which is the restoration of the kingdom of Israel. In Acts 1:6-7, the disciples understood that salvation meant political and spiritual restoration for Yasharallah, right? Having dominion. And what the verse that I have pulled up here about salvation being for the seed of Yasharallah, which is Israel in the Paleo-Hebrew, right? This is Jeremiah 46:27. It says, "But fear not thou, O my servant Jacob, and be not dismayed, O Israel, for behold, I will save thee. I will save thee from afar off, and your seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and be in rest and at ease, and none shall make him afraid." So yes, this is a future prophecy that has not happened yet. And pretty much the Bible, all the prophets speak the same thing. All right, the narrative never changes. We know that Israel was scattered. It says it countless and countless of times, though it's not really a big deal under Christian dogma about Israelites being scattered into every nation, which is why at the end, you know, especially during the revelation of John, John the Revelator, when he spoke on In Revelation 7 and 9, I believe, you know, how you have from every nation, every tribe, every tongue, you know, those are still Israelites, but they're just scattered abroad, right? And we're going to walk through that with that reasoning that you know, the salvation is not based on outward skin tone. Also, salvation is the redemption from sin through the covenant, all right? And only Israel was under the covenant, so only Israel can be redeemed. Now, let's walk through that reasoning, all right? Salvation is not about outward skin tone. We try the Spirit by the Spirit. That's John 7 and 24. All right, let's go to it. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. All right. Since it was a scattering, now Israelites are not going to look how they used to. All right, now through the truth. In truth, we know that the Israelites are originally a melanated people, a melanated origin, right? Mostly the whole earth was of melanated origin anyways, okay? Like, that's just the truth. The truth of the matter is Israelites are originally melanated people. 2, through the scattering, Israel has been mixed and may look like other nations, even phenotypically. So just because you take an apple seed and you plant it from Asia, it's an apple from Asia, the seed of it. When you take it to America and you plant it, it's still going to be an Asian seed. I mean, it's still going to be an apple seed, right? It's not going to turn into a watermelon, or it's not going to be a watermelon / apple. It's going to be whatever you plant, whatever you reap what you sow. It may look a little different, though, because of the soil. So you can take that same reasoning and wisdom and apply it to the seed of man, right? When you take the seed of man and you put it in another nation, then the fruit of that seed is going to come out whatever was sold, right? Whatever that man is, because he is the progenitor. He is the start of that seed. So the fruit is going to come out whatever the seed is. All right? It's not going to be, there's no such thing as mixed, like, as far as nationality is concerned. All right, I hope that makes sense. It may look like if an Israelite gets with a Moabite woman, guess what? That's, matter of fact, that's the just like with Ruth. Ruth was a Moabite. All right, and I believe Boaz, if I'm not mistaken, was it Boaz? Let's do a real quick search. This is kind of like through the Spirit. Let's see. Yeah, so Boaz, right? Boaz is an Israelite. Yeah, Boaz is an Israelite, right? And he planted a seed into Ruth. Now, Ruth is a Moabite, but guess what? The seed of Boaz is still an Israelite. Even though, but in today's, let the world tell it, that would be so-called Blasian or whatever. That's what they would call, oh, that's a they mixed. In a way, it is it's a mixture, but it's not mixture as in seed. You can't mix seed. Whatever you reap is what you sow. All right, so moving on. We know we said that through scattering, Israel has been mixed and may even look like other nations. So we mingled in with the other nations, had babies. They come out looking like some of the other nations. They're not coming out how they originally, like pure melanated Israelites. All right, they're gonna have a little. They may have slants in their eyes. They may have a bigger nose or whatever, a broader face or a longer head or a bigger forehead. Or they may look like a Hamite. They may look like an Asian. They may look like an Edomite. They may look like any other of the other nations. But the seed is the promise. But that's why at the end, at the harvest, which is the end of the world, the Most High, he's going to separate the wheat from the tares in the end. All right? So that the seed of the promise, that his promise is not disannulled, or he don't break his promise. Right? That's what it's all about. The Lord is going to keep his word. So let's read John 7:24 again. It says, judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. All right, salvation isn't based on melanin levels or skin tone, but on being an Israelite inwardly and spiritually, not just by physicality, but by faith and obedience. All right, that's how you can also tell when you try the spirit by the spirit, like how do they react to the word, Are they humble? Are they obedient to the scriptures, to the truth of the matter? Even if they look like other nations, are they obedient to the matter, the truth? Because that's really what it is too. Like the Bible, the word, the scriptures say what it say, but people like to make it say other things based on, it's just or maybe too, it's also they just don't have the understanding that it's about the seed. All right. Even with Abraham, when he made his covenant with Abraham, the Lord, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, made his covenant with Abraham. He was talking about his seed, all right? This is a lineage thing, all right? Also, I want to prove, too, that Israelites are a melanated nation by origin. And we can go to Limitations. Let's see. Limitations 5 and verse 10. It says, our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. All right. So this was during, I think this was during the Babylonian captivity, right? And, they was going through, our people was going through a lot of terrible things. And skin being black like an oven, melanin is what allows skin to be blackened under stress or exposure, like a darker skin, okay? Melanated skin, like that of the ancient Israelites, can turn darker under extreme sunlight, heat, stress, malnutrition, or lack of hydration. But non-melanated people, right, their skin, pale or so-called white, basically you can see their blood showing forth through their skin. Their skin burns, reddens, or blisters under the same conditions, not blacking, all right? So like this, even the sun, if the sun hit the skin long enough, it may blister or blacken. It gets sunburn easily when you don't have as much melanin. Not to say that you can't get the same skin conditions too while you're melanated, but the fact of the matter is, through this verse, it's talking about they become black because of the famine that happens. It gets darker. Your skin gets darker under that malnutrition, under that famine, right? And the Bible is consistent when it describes the Israelites as dark-skinned people, like the soil of the earth, making it clear that the original Israelites were melanated people. And even in Acts 21, verse 37 through 38, Paul is mistaken for an Egyptian by a Roman captain. And we know Egyptians originally, they are also melanated people as well. That's why excuse me, that's why even Israelites were able to just kind of try to blend in with the Egyptians, because they're dark-skinned people as well. But they're not the seed of Israel. Like, there's a distinction. And even in Exodus 2:19 with Moses, he was mistaken for an Egyptian by a Midianite woman. Right? Let's see. Right. And they said, this is Exodus 2 and verse 19. And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. Yeah, this is Zipporah, one of the Midianite daughters. All right. She thought Moses was an Egyptian, but also too, like, that just goes to show you that they were dark-skinned people. All right, you can find that in even ancient artifacts. So now that we established that, Israelites were originally dark people, all right, now let's go into the fact that they were scattered. So Israelites, we know, Deuteronomy 28:64 and countless others. Matter of fact, let's just go to it, because when you cross-reference it, this is the truth. Deuteronomy 28, and throughout the whole scripture, the whole narrative of the Bible is talking about how they've been scattered. And in every captivity, there are prophets. In every captivity, even in today's time, right? During the Roman captivity, there was prophets. During this captivity, we got prophets. All right. Deuteronomy 28:64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor your fathers have known, even wood and stone. Now let's do a cross-reference. Scattering thee from among all people. All right, so as you can see, Deuteronomy 4:27. This was before Deuteronomy 28. All right, and the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left in few number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. All right, Leviticus, and I will scatter you among the heathen. Nehemiah, remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commandest your servant Moses, saying, if you transgress, I will scatter you abroad among the nations. Jeremiah, another is a scattering. Jeremiah 15:17. This is during a captivity. Israel is a scattered sheep. The king of Assyria hath devoured them. Last, this Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, has broken his bones. That's one captivity. Ezekiel, he spoke about the scattering. Therefore say, thus saith the Lord God, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where I can't read the rest of that on the end because it's cut off. But the Lord is going to gather the Israelites from all the countries where he has scattered them. That's prophecy. All right. It hasn't happened yet. The Lord said he was going to gather them. So it's not the state of, Israel. That's not the fulfillment of this prophecy, okay? And even in Luke 21:24, YAHAWASHI, he said, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. All right? And here we are today. We are in all nations. So guess what? We're going to look like every nation that we've been scattered into. All right? For the most part, like I said, Israel is melanated, but don't be surprised if you see so-called Asian, right, that looks like an Asian, but they could actually be an Israelite, especially if they're into the scriptures, because that's how you can tell too. The Lord, he said, the sheep hear my voice, right, and they follow it. Roughly paraphrasing. All right. But yeah, it's countless of scripture of the scattering, us talking about being scattered. Even during the transatlantic slave trade, today we could talk about, we were sent to all over. That deal. Matter of fact, if you let's just look it up. Let's go to James. Oh no, that's not what I meant. I'm doing it the wrong way. All right, let's go to James. Yeah, all right. So this is James 1:1. It says, James, a servant of God and of the Lord Yahawashi Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. So even during the time of Yahawashi, they knew that they were scattered abroad. This is why they were sending letters out to the churches that they were establishing throughout the region during the Roman captivity. All right, now if you click scattered, it's going to be diaspora, right? Which is a Greek word, all right? Diaspora.
Strong's G1290. Diaspora.
All right, a scattering, dispersion of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations. All right. And of course, we know Israelites are Christians, so-called. The real understanding of Christian is Israelites who follow Yahawashi Mashiach. All right. Look, it says Israelite resident in Gentile countries which are scattered abroad. All right. So, yes, we understand the Israelites were scattered abroad, are still scattered abroad. We haven't been gathered yet. All right. And after centuries of slavery, migration, captivity, and intermarriage, Israel now appears in many phenotypes, right? Some may look European, Asian, Arab, or even Hamites, Africans, but their spirit and lineage tell the truth, not just appearance. Some may even speak a different language, like in the book of Acts. So we can actually see the result of being scattered abroad, right? We're going to read in Acts. This might be the last one, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up after this. All right, so this is Acts 2, in the day of Pentecost. Verse 5, it says, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews. All right, so now we establish this in Jerusalem. There was Jews, of course. Devout men out of every nation under heaven. So the Israelites, they were scattered in different nations. But here they are in Jerusalem all together. And now you're about to see that there's more, there's Jews from different countries. All right, it says now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying to one another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born? So they were Jews, but they were born in other countries based on being scattered abroad. All right. It says Parthians and Medes and Elamites and the dwellers in Mesopotamia and in Judea, Cappadocia, and Pontus, and Asia, Phrygia, and Pamphylia, and Egypt, and in parts of Libya about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians, we do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of God. So they will speak in the language of those Jews, Jews that were born in other nations, okay? But they were still Jews. The seed never changed. So that's what happens, when you're scattered to another place, just like how we during the diaspora, the so-called African diaspora, you'll find a brother in another country, but he could speak another language. So even not only do the Israelites not only would they may have a different skin tone, but they also may speak a different language, which means that you really have to try the Spirit by the Spirit, because though they may look like another nation, though they may look like an Elamite and speak, the East Indian language, they may actually still be an Israelite. But that's why you try the Spirit by the Spirit. All right. But the Lord, he said he's going to sift the house of Israel among all nations, like corn sifted in a sieve. All right. Yeah. And matter of fact, let's just end it off with Revelation. What I mentioned earlier, Revelation 7 and 9. A multitude from the tribulation. It says, Revelation 7 and 9, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man can number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. All right, and these are Israelites, right, that were scattered from all over. Remember, the Lord said he's going to gather them. Also, this is about the seed of the promise too, right? You can go back to, I believe it's Hosea, but this was the Lord said to Abraham that he was going to multiply his seed as the stars of heaven, right? And this is the result of that too. But of course, we are going to be mingled among all nations. It's not going to just be, especially during captivity, and it is what it is. All right, salvation is not based on skin tone. It's based on the Lord's promise. All right, and Lord willing, that was edifying for you, whoever out there may be watching. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Shalom.